Good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of the CRA board meeting. Thank you. And thank you all for taking our time to be here this afternoon. We're going to call the meeting to order. Mr. Cox, do we have any agenda modifications?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have two. We're pulling item 8.04, and we are adding 3.01, which is going to be the CAC chair presentation for you all under the presentation section.
That was 8. Give it to me again.
8.04.
It's been pulled.
Madam Chair, is that one pulled?
That's
0.04?
yes, sir. That is the modification to pull it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Consider it pulled. And what was the one we were adding? Presentation.
Yes, Madam Chair. The 3.01, which would become the presentation by the CAC chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, we'll move right into presentations, and we'll go right into the CAC chair presentation. AI is taking over. Ask a question.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bura Demirel, and I'm the vice chair of the Greater Frenchtown Southside Citizens Advisory Committee. Our fearless leader, Rod McQueen, couldn't make it to the last meeting. So I was there, so I took notes, and I'm here to give the report back to you guys regarding what was discussed in the meeting. I'll jump right to it. Overall, we went over a couple agenda items, 3 funding, project funding, and 1 budget. Overall discussions were surrounding community benefits of these budget items. We approved all 3 with staff recommendation. The one that gained the most discussion was 1104 Old Banbridge Road project. That project, initially, we had these discussions a couple months ago regarding that project. Community was passionate about the fact that they want to see certain use for that property, and landlord was present, and he reassured the board that he's going to make the effort to engage with the community and try to bring tenant in that space that's going to be a good use for the Frenchtown community. With that caveat, we approved the funding of that project and recommending to you guys today that recommending you to approve that funding. Granted, the landlord will make an effort to engage with the Frenchtown community and try to bring in a tenant to that project, to that building that's going to be useful for the remaining of the community there. Beyond this 3 funding requests that we approved, the discussion moved on to the budget. Overall comments were regarding affordable housing. We discussed infrastructure projects with the CRA. We discussed regional stormwater facilities and the need for those. But beyond those, another discussion was the community policing aspect of the budget. Currently, there is a budget item in our CRA that I believe is a 5-year agreement with the TPD. This 5-year agreement allocates about $200,000 for TPD to engage with the community and build relationship with the law enforcement and the rest of the Greater Frenchtown South Side CRA district. So we looked into this item, and the board realized that the funding it cannot be used for the events. So the staff recommended that we will bring the TPD representative in the next meeting to see how they are looking into utilizing these funds I supported that motion, but the motion failed, so the board ended up recommending you to strike that item out of the budget. Beyond that item, budget, the rest of the budget conversation, again, we looked into overall reserves and the future of the CRA when CRA sunsets and other projects that we may have interest in. The board mentioned that we need to look into signature projects, the projects that will have an impact, greater impact in a broader Frenchtown Southside CRA district. That is the board's request for the future, where we actually have impactful projects coming in front of us so that we can vote on them, recommend them, and have a greater impact in the community. So that's about it.
All right. Any questions? Mayor?
Mr. Cox, are you planning on, when we hit the budget workshop at 5 o'clock, are we going to, are you bringing the budget recommendations he just mentioned forward
Yes, sir.
for discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. And on a personal note, Mr. Demmer, I don't think I've seen you in a formal manner since your development, the Monroe, won its second award, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me about the award.
So this week we are celebrating the full 1-year anniversary of the Monroe, and today I was told by OEV that we were recognized by the International Economic Development Council as one of the top projects in the entire nation that brings a major economic impact to the community. So the press release will be out, is my understanding, very soon. This was a phenomenal recognition for us. It's not regional, it's not a local recognition, it's an international recognition. Me and my team, we are very, very happy about it, and our project has been a community project from day one, and without you guys and without everybody else that supported our project, we wouldn't be able to make it. So it's a community project. It has been a community project, and we are proud to accept that award on behalf of the whole Tallahassee community, and extremely happy. And I'm pretty sure OEV has some other plans and inviting the community over. So we are looking forward to seeing more details on the award, but it's a great recognition for our city in general, just beyond Summer Walls. This recognition doesn't go to every city. So it's coming into Tallahassee, and we are happy to be the project that represents the city of Tallahassee.
So in your first year of business, you have been recognized by the Urban Land Institute for Creative Design and Redevelopment, which
Correct.
wife more credit than you, being the architect that designed it. But also now you've been recognized by the International Economic Development.
Right. Yeah, and we were highlighted by Florida Caribbean Architects Magazine and a local chapter of American Institute of Architects, AIA. They have also recognized us in an unbuilt category during the project design for our impact on South Monroe Street.
Well, thank you for your volunteer service on the CAC, and thank you for your investment in Tallahassee, and job well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner?
The first,
Commissioner Richardson, excuse me. Commissioner Porter?
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry, we should have started the meeting by entertaining a motion for her to participate.
so moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, now second. It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you, Commissioner Porter, and just let us know if you want to chime in.
Okay. Yeah, the only question that I had was, and I think the mayor alluded to this, that we will consider that 200,000 in the budget or taken out of the budget at our budget workshop later on.
Yes, sir. That is
Okay.
part of the conversation.
Okay. And then the other question I had, the first project that you talked about, which item is that on today's agenda?
It was 6.2 for us. It's 1104 Old Bainbridge Road.
So it's 8.02, sir.
8.02.
Okay, all right.
And that's the corner property in Frenchtown with the Old Bainbridge, and I think it's
Time saver.
time saver.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Very familiar.
Commissioner,
Thank you, Madam.
Our board member, Matlow.
No question. Yeah.
Our board member Porter.
nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for filling in. We'll let Rod McQueen know you did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your awards, and thanks for being such a community supporter.
Thank
All right, we'll now move to our DRC. DRC?
No DRC.
report? Okay, all right, so we'll move on to our consent agenda.
Public comment.
I'm sorry, public comment. We have any public comment on agenda items? Do we have any speakers, Ms. Williams?
We do, Madam Chair. We actually have, it appears to be, on agenda items 5. I believe 3 of the speakers want to speak in front of the item, and may be part of the item, which is 7.01, as I understand it. So then we would have 2 at this time, if that's okay. We have Mr. Stanley Sims wanting to speak on agenda item number 7.01, followed behind him would be Eliza on agenda item number 7.02, pedestrian lighting. If you'll come to the podium, name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes. On the dais, the light is going to go from green to amber yellow to red, at which time, please conclude your comments. Thank you.
Point of information. This is the agenda item, not the unagendaed item. You'll call
Correct.
us back. Okay.
Yes, sir.
My name is Stanley Sims. I'm at 1320 Avondale Way. I wanted to speak on this issue is because, one, I don't like the setup. I often ask myself, how could we get a gas station built by a house less than 100 feet? Well, the scenarios that have happened with this kind of lets you know, gives you a bird's eye view of what's happened. This is not multifamily housing. This is student housing. We have opened up a Pandora's box by affording this. And then this developer comes in and say, if you don't give me what I want, I'm not going to build. So they're very arrogant in flexing their muscles. And then they tell us is, we're going to need more of your money because the property we chose to buy is not up to par. And we want you to pay for it because when we had other property available, we fell back because we let everybody else get all the prime property and we'll get this, and then we'll muscle you to fix it. What I say? Because all of those other properties down in Gaines Street, their CRA money contributed to the common area in improving the common area. But because these guys have certain friends in high places, they were able to change the direction of the CRA board and come back. Justice.
Next speaker, please.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Eliza, I'm a butcher, Natassi. And you can fix it. Sorry.
Nastasi. Eliza Nastasi, 1509 Glenway Drive. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm here to voice my support for the proposed Calhoun pedestrian bridge lighting project. Lighting is more than just a convenience. It's a matter of safety. It's a matter of accessibility. We know that well-lit walkways improve the visibility of pedestrians to drivers. We know that this reduces the likelihood of a pedestrian-involved crash. I would say even more so along a one-way street where drivers tend to, increase their speed. They also enhance pedestrian sense of security, especially at night. Better lighting not only protects pedestrians, it also supports drivers by encouraging slower speeds And in addition, and true to KCCI's function of creating a strong sense of place in Tallahassee, a thoughtful lighting design can strengthen our community identity and make this section, this portion of Calhoun Street, really a sense of pride for everyone, not only the people using the parking garage going to the courthouse, but people working in the annex and people traversing downtown. So I urge the board of the CRA to prioritize this proposed project to improve safety, security, and community pride in Tallahassee. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
That concludes our speakers on agenda items at this section of the agenda, other than the three that do want to speak before the item 7.01.
Okay, thank you to both of our speakers. Next, we'll move to our consent agenda. Has anything been removed from the consent agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda item.
Move.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda item. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. Moving right along to, since there were no items pulled, we'll move right along to 7.01, the Downtown District Policy Formation and Direction.
Okay, and here's where we have the speaker cards.
Okay?
Okay, I have speaker cards for Maribel Nicholson Choice, Brad Wolf, and Robert Volpe. If you would.
Chair, members, my name is Maribel Nicholson Choice. I'm with Greenberg Trarek Law Firm at 101 East College Avenue. I represent L3 Campus LLC that has about 6 buildings in College Town. I'm here generally in opposition of extending the tax abatement in the context that it's being presented. And I'm specifically objecting to it being extended in this application without conditions that clearly reflect and are concrete reflections of the CRE's goals and focus. I have made my career in environmental law for almost 30 years. My specialty is pretty much brownfield redevelopment, which is pretty much making something out of nothing. That's what I've done my whole career. I'm a former assistant city attorney. I was here when Cascades Park was just a big dig, and Gain Street was a slew of petroleum contamination that extended down to the stadium. And I will tell you that in order to take something and make it out of nothing, it takes a team, a diverse group of people, and that's what we were able to accomplish in Tallahassee. The development community had to adopt the vision of the city and make significant investments to make Gain Street what it is today. And those are the neighbors of the people that are around the application that's being presented. I object to the fact that the tax abatement is extended just to one individual developer. You have a group of people that have been here, my client, at least since 2021, that have invested hundreds of millions of dollars to make Gain Street what it is today. And I would ask that you consider that there will be neighbors with this applicant, and that extending this tax abatement in this context without prior notice and opportunity for the other similarly situated developers to participate is just not fair. And so we didn't get here in Tallahassee on our own. I don't think you ignore your neighbors. I think you figure out a way to meet with them, and we've done that work as much as we can up to this point, and incorporate some of their concerns with your decision. And at the very least, your concerns, the conditions should reflect the goals of the CRA, and you'll hear from other speakers in regard to recommendations of specific conditions that you should consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, please.
Brad Wolf.
Good afternoon, Board. Thank you for having me. I'm Brad Wolf, 9200 Treasure Lane Northeast. I'm an owner of 908 Group. I'm a student housing and multifamily developer. I've been doing business here with all of your support since 2017. We've built 7 student housing projects in College Town. We have 2 more under construction. We're about to start 2 more here very soon. We also applaud the CRA for, back 10 plus years ago when Gain Street was industrial and a dilapidated area. Those initial couple projects to really kickstart the area deserved the CRA funds and use them wisely. Since then, The area has matured. You know, over the past 10 years, we've all been doing our projects without public funding. It was our understanding, and why I'm here, and why we were confused, is that student housing didn't apply for this funding, and it was supposed to be multifamily or other types of projects. This applicant's project is student housing, just like ours. I applaud them. It's one of the best sites left in College Town. It will demand the highest luxury student housing rents and can be very successful on its own. So that's really why we're here, is shouldn't apply to student housing. This project isn't multifamily, and we think they can do it on their own. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, please.
Next speaker, Robert Volpe.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. Robert Volpe, got it right, thank you. 119 South Monroe Street with the Holtzman Vogel Law Firm, representing 908 Holdings Group, LLC. As the previous speaker said, we generally object to this tax abatement in the position that it's presented to the single developer. You all know Gain Street has been wildly successful. That's no secret in this community, and it's because of the investment from the city and the investment and the policies from the CRA to encourage development in an area that was warehouses and blighted and undeveloped 20 years ago. The purpose of that was to encourage private development, to encourage private investment. You've seen hundreds of millions of dollars. My client alone has done $800 million worth of development in the College Town and Gain Street area based on the policies that you put in place. And the policy, as of the recent policy of this board, is that CRA investments were not to be used for student housing. This project, as it's presented, is student housing. As you heard my client say, he is well-versed in how these projects are structured, how the unit mixes are set up, and this is going to be used for student housing. If this is a change in policy, then we think that this is an opportunity for this board, because there are others that are similarly situated that have not been given this opportunity. That would be to put conditions on this application, to put conditions on any kind of incentive that would, one, ensure that this is multifamily. There are conditions, there are policies that have worked in other communities. This applicant, this project has a average bed per unit rate of over 3.8. We would suggest something around a cap of an average of 2.7 beds per unit. That would have a lower bed units included, which encourages real multifamily. Another option would be real affordable housing components. That way you have CRA investments showing real tangible community benefits in an area that has already greatly benefited from CRA investments. We would be happy to engage in these types of discussions if this were to be delayed or continued. And again, this also provides a pathway for others that are similarly situated to take advantage of this opportunity with conditions that would provide a real benefit. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
And that is the last speaker that we have on agenda items.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cox, we have a presentation, I see.
Yes, we have a presentation. Representative of the developer, Aaron Tilton, will give the presentation.
Ms. Tilton, all eyes on you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Cox. Appreciate the introduction. Commissioners, board members, I'll probably refer to you as commissioners because I'm very used to doing it that way. But thank you for the opportunity to present this request to you this afternoon. As Mr. Cox said, my name is Erin Tilton. I'm an attorney with Stearns Weaver Miller, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, MDL Tallahassee Owner, which is an affiliate of Park 7 Group. With me today is Barry Wilcox, Director of Planning with Stearns Weaver Miller, and also Christopher Kritzman, who is a principal of Park 7 Group. Park 7 is very excited to be able to present this request to you today for their second project in Tallahassee. They currently own and operate the Boulevard, which is on Jackson Bluff Road. So I know you've heard quite a bit about the project thus far, just hit on the high points. I won't belabor it, but the applicant is intending to redevelop this site, which is at 730 West Gain Street, as a 187-unit housing development with a variety of sizes and floor plans ranging from studio apartments to 5-bedroom units. Will include a clubhouse amenity space and 2 levels of subterranean structured parking, which to my knowledge is the first subterranean parking on Gain Street. The redevelopment also includes the demolition of existing structures, which was recently completed, and also excavation and disposal of contaminated soils consistent with the contamination you've seen throughout this corridor in town. Importantly, the City of Tallahassee's Growth Management Department has issued a multifamily site plan approval for this project. An EMP is currently under review and is on hold pending the outcome of this request. For the project to come to fruition, the applicant has had to overcome several very significant challenges that drastically increase the cost of construction, both from their initial estimates and also above similar projects along the Gain Street corridor. Now, if you've heard this so far, but I want to stress this point, this project cannot move forward without the requested assistance. The applicant is requesting assistance in the form of a reimbursement of a small portion of the future taxes that will be generated from the project once construction is completed. And specifically, what we're asking you for is 100% of the city tax increment generated by the project through the remaining life of the CRA, which, as you know, sunsets in 2034. So what that means is the city will collect exactly what it's collecting today, and the increase based on the project's completion will be reimbursed annually just for the city's portion of the taxes to the applicant. No CRA funds are being advanced as part of this request. Rather, the applicant is going to invest the full cost of construction up front, which is about $150 million, and they'll bear the risk of any market or financial issues that may come up. The city tax increment will be reimbursed to the applicant upon project completion, again, annually, and will be specifically directed toward elements of the project that provide a larger community benefit, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail. So we've had a non-traditional path to get before you this evening, and we've had many conversations with your staff. They've been absolutely wonderful throughout this process and really appreciate their assistance in getting us to this point. But we understand there's really, based on those conversations, 2 questions that we need to be prepared to answer for you today. The first is, why does this project need assistance? And the second is, how will that requested assistance benefit the community? To answer the first question, I want to back up for a minute and talk about the beginning of the downtown district. When the downtown redevelopment plan was published in June of 2004, it divided the downtown district into 5 sub-areas, one of which is the Gain Street sub-area, and that's the one that we're dealing with here today. If you take a look at the plan, as far back as 2004, it highlighted deteriorating buildings and the poor condition of public infrastructure as significant challenges for the Gain Street corridor, and identified the need to design an urban setting that would not only attract visitors, but would also encourage people to live in this corridor. The plan for Gain Street specifically identified the proximity of FAMU and FSU as an asset for the Gain Street sub-area, and expressly stated that this corridor is a prime location for student housing. The property at issue today was highlighted as a specific example. There's actually a photograph of this property in the downtown redevelopment plan as an example of a need for public investment in the Gain Street sub-area. So as you know, with CRA support, public infrastructure surrounding this property has really undergone significant changes since 2004. We've had complete reconstruction of the roadway. We've had a regional stormwater facility developed and significant utility upgrades as well. And those public investments over time had spurred quite a bit of private redevelopment along this corridor. What you'll see, though, is that this property really remains the final piece, final unfinished piece of that Gain Street sub-area puzzle. And to really demonstrate that, I wanted to show you on the screen sort of a time lapse of where we started from and where we are today with Gain Street. You'll see, again, the property is at issue is highlighted in red. This is 2006 aerial imagery, so 2 years after the downtown redevelopment plan was published. And in yellow, you'll see structures that were built in 2006. Going forward to 2007, now you'll see structures built in past years will be highlighted in blue, and the structures that we're adding each year are going to be shown in yellow. This is 2007, 2009, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 24, and here we are today in 2025. So as you can see, the property that we're here about today has really been left behind in the private investment conversation. It's not a coincidence that this property has remained untouched while those around it in the corridor have attracted such significant private investment, because there are several distinctive features of this property that make it significantly more challenging and expensive to develop. So let's start with the parcel shape. In order to even get to the point of bringing this application before you today, the applicant had to assemble 4 of the remaining parcels along West Gaines Street to create a 1.84 acre parcel. Just as a note, assembling parcels to create smaller parcels to create a developable property is a traditional CRA function that costs obviously money to undertake. The applicant here has done that on the front end. But the parcel is irregularly shaped, and that shape does reduce design efficiency, and it also increases the per unit cost as compared to other projects in the area. Let's talk about contamination. So, as I'm sure you're well aware at this point, we have historical industrial activities along this corridor, including the former CSX rail spur. On the map on here, you can see in the red hatching is the DEP covenants and restrictions for the site contamination. You can actually kind of see the shape of the rail spur on the property. So this property is contaminated. The rail spur left behind arsenic in the soils, which have to be removed. Where accessible on the site, a lot of that removal has already taken place just to make it a safer and cleaner site. The applicant undertook a lot of that work, but there is still quite a bit left to go. As you can see, there's concrete pads on the site, and once those come out, there will be additional soil removal that needs to take place. The applicant is planning to excavate and dispose of additional soils on site to a depth of 20 feet, which will cost about $465,000. The site was also previously developed with an automotive repair shop and several dilapidated warehouse buildings, which the applicant has since removed for public safety concerns, and that cost them approximately $250,000 right off the top. Probably the most significant issue with this particular property as compared to other properties along this corridor is the amount of encumbrances on the property. So the property is subject to a permanent easement along its northern property boundary known as Bicycle Boulevard. That precludes any above-ground structures and limits the buildable area of the site. You also have a court-ordered private easement for fiber optic cables and related infrastructure that runs along the southern boundary, further constraining development. You have additionally water and sewer and drainage easements and the restrictive covenants imposed by DEP that I mentioned before. So all of that, sum total, when you put all of those together on the property, it results in 49.7% of the site being encumbered by some sort of easement or covenant and restriction. So again, 1.84 acres is what we start with, but by the time you include all those acres, all those easements, we're dealing with about half of that for buildable area. So getting back to the question, right, why does this project need assistance? As you can see, to offset the reduced building footprint and accommodate on-site parking that's required under the code, the applicant has to incorporate 2 levels of structured subterranean parking and also increase the project height to 9 stories. Before construction can even begin, the applicant has to demolish the existing structures, which they've done, and then excavate and dispose of those contaminated soils down to 20 feet. So all of those factors together bring the hard cost of this project to about $253 per square foot. To put that in context for you, additionally, additional projects in this corridor that are recently under construction have ranged between $122 and $173 a square foot. Other projects that this applicant has done in other jurisdictions have ranged between $150 and $170 a square foot. So we are talking about significant cost increases as a result of these site issues. If the request is approved, the applicant is committed to mobilizing to the site in February of 2026, breaking ground in March of 2026, and construction will take approximately 2 years. That means that we're looking at move-in summer to fall of 2028. If the request is not approved, the project is unlikely to ever be constructed. Let's talk now about how this requested assistance benefits the community. And I think probably the most obvious way to talk about community benefit is the increased tax revenue on the site. So a little bit of background, I'm sure you're familiar with this, but some of the folks listening may not be. Properties located within city limits are assessed ad valorem taxes by a couple of different taxing authorities. You've got Leon County, City of Tallahassee, Leon County Schools, Children's Services Council, and the Water Management District, all at various millage rates. And so in 2024, the assessed value of this property for ad valorem purposes was generally about $1.1 million. I say that because the Leon County Schools assessed it slightly higher at 1.7. So in 2024, the county collected about $10,000, the city collected about $5,000, Leon County Schools collected again right around $10,000. Children's Services Council and the Water Management District collectively took in about $429, bring it to a total tax burden at the bottom of the screen of $25,548.37. Again, that's 2024, and as you can see, the city component of that ad valorem tax is it's a small portion. It's about 20% of the total tax assessment for the property. Post-construction, the applicant estimates conservatively that the value of the property for ad valorem purposes will be approximately $55.1 million. If we assume no change in millage rates and use that $55.1 million as the assessed value for all of the taxing authorities at issue, the county, once this project is constructed and submitted to the tax rolls, will collect about $500,000 in taxes annually. City would collect about $243,000. I'll highlight for you a second. Leon County Schools would collect about $296,000, which is a huge deal for county schools. Also, the Children's Services Council will be getting about $19,000, and the Water Management District will have an increase as well. Again, the applicant is only requesting reimbursement of the city tax increment, which is roughly $238,000. That means post-construction, even with reimbursement of the city tax increment, total tax assessment for this property will be approximately $821,000. That's a 3,200% increase since 2024. Once the downtown CRA sunsets, so will the reimbursement, and that percentage will actually go higher. We've also committed, again, the applicant is asking for about $238,000 for a period of 6 years, totaling about $1.4 million. We've, assuming that the request is approved, earmarked that $1.4 million to go directly to elements of this project that constitute a broader community benefit. That's things like streetscape and pedestrian improvements, infrastructure and mobility upgrades, landscaping and visual enhancements, and that demolition and abatement we've talked about with some of the environmental issues on the site. When you total the public, what we'll call public enhancement components of the project, they come to about $2.1 million. So you see that 1.4 we're asking for very easily fits into the overall public benefit dollars for the project. Local economic impact is the last one I want to touch on real quick. Obviously, a project of this magnitude is going to create significant jobs for our community. We're expecting a significant number of both construction and permanent jobs. The applicant is committed to focusing on local vendors, including small, minority-owned, and women-owned businesses. And I want to expand on that for a minute because we hear that a lot, right? And I want to be very clear that those are not just words on a slide that I'm putting in front of you to try to get you to sign off on this today. The applicant has a general contractor selected, and that general contractor has a corporate policy of committing to providing opportunities for all qualified trade partners and material suppliers, specifically with an emphasis on local vendors. They are committed to actively and proactively supporting local firms and soliciting participation locally, including from small businesses, minority-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses, and actually have a formal mentoring program for small and disadvantaged businesses in our community, in every community that they work in, to kind of teach some of those skills and make some of these businesses, give them skills to continue to work on these types of projects. In support of the general contractors programs, that our applicant today has already met with OEV's Minority, Women, and Small Business Enterprise Division, and also with the Tempo program to proactively begin identifying ways that those programs can be a part of this project and be engaged in this project should it come to fruition. I know that was a lot of information, so I'll try to wrap up quickly here. Just want to emphasize this project really does address a long-standing redevelopment priority for the Gaines Street sub-area. It transforms what is a really challenging site and a contaminated site into what will be a vibrant, high-density housing development. And it delivers tangible public benefits far beyond the footprint of the project. But I think the one thing I want to emphasize the most here, though, is that this is a fiscally responsible way for our city to achieve one of the downtown district's long-range development goals, right? When you have no money up front, substantial private investment already committed, this is a very fiscally responsible request. With that, we request your support, and I'm happy to answer any questions, and my team is also happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hillman. I got a couple of things. We're gonna have our discussion, but I want to start it off. I'm glad I made a list of things that would help me come to a good resolve. One, you've already indicated dealing with the local contractors and local vendors and making sure that we have some minority and women participation.
Yes, ma'am.
A couple other things that I'd ask you all to consider. It would be, let me say it this way, it would be favorable if you consider contributing to the affordable housing trust fund here at the city during those years where we're doing the tax abatement, and I think that comes to about 7 years, I believe.
I think it's about 6. It'll depend on when construction completes, but 6
Okay,
years. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
6 or 7 years, and to the tune of about maybe 10 grand a year. I don't know if that's something that you all can get. You can check it out.
I'm just gonna look.
Everybody's listening. Everybody's listening. So yeah, I see there's
I'm
that a
getting the
nod.
nod, yeah,
That's a
I'm
nod. Be
getting the
careful,
nod.
you're at an auction. So so 10 grand a year that will go to the affordable housing
Yes, ma'am.
trust, and then to market to the entire community, not just to the students, but to the entire community, including the universities. Because what I learned during COVID is that housing that was available, because people needed to be housed and we needed to be separated, we didn't just house students in these I don't want to call them, in these residential facilities. There were families who actually ended up in there. And I've heard someone say that they would love to have their own room and bathroom separate, but market it to the entire community and go forward with that, and including FAMU, FSU, and Tallahassee State College as well. I know we got branches of Berry here and others. Everybody is open to all, be inclusive. So those are 3 things that would make me feel better about a decision in regards to doing this on Gaines Street. So let me double check. We got a yes on all 3 of those?
Yes, ma'am. You have a yes
All right.
on all 3.
All right, thank you. So now we can begin the discussion. Commissioner Richardson, or Board Member Richardson, I try to make sure we designate, because there are those who don't understand that we look like the commissioners, but we're board members in this role.
Just a quick question. What will be the benefit to the CRA over these next 7 years? Or the 7 years at the project?
Which one of y'all want to respond?
Oh, well, I mean, essentially, the TIF that we receive now, because the county is no longer contributing to the downtown TIF, it is essentially the city's property taxes that is what we generate. So if this was approved for those 6 years, we would not be receiving any TIF from this property. But the other properties, we would be.
Okay. And I too want to agree with our chair, I want to say, I'll say young lady.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Those issues that she brought forward are very important to me as well, particularly the minority and women-owned business participation, and advertising to the full community. So it isn't just student housing. I think we've got plenty of that, but we don't have enough affordable housing. And so we want to have some of this development addressing that issue. It's one of the top priorities of this board and commission, and so we would certainly want to see that happen as well. I am very interested in the broader community economic impact that this will have. I forgot what you said the exact number was, but it will be a tremendous economic benefit to the city, and that
821,000.
Yeah, and that's with the reimbursement. So it'll be 821. And again, these are estimates, right? So if the value of the property is higher, then the taxes, of course, will be higher. If the millage rates were to go up, that would impact this as well. But our current estimate is, even with the requested reimbursement for those 6 years, you're looking at $821,601.87. After the CRA sunsets and the reimbursement sunsets, it goes up to over $1 million.
right, and assuming that the millage rate stays the same.
Correct.
Which,
So we really did try to be conservative with these estimates.
yeah. So those are some of the issues that I had concern for. I know that, I've been here long enough to know what Gain Street looked like when I came here in the mid-'70s. And we've made tremendous progress in terms of developing that area. And I think this would be a good addition to that as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to go on down to Board Member Matlow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I'll start by saying, this is student housing, right? If it's 4.4s or 6.6s, I'm not sure what we're building, but the area of town, it's student housing. It's what it will be. We're not going to have affordable housing on Gain Street. We're just not. We're not going to build things that are affordable at the budgets we talk about when we talk about affordable. I did oppose this coming back at the last meeting because we have a longstanding policy that we weren't going to do student housing. I know Commissioner Richardson wasn't here. We didn't know how that would shape out. So the question today is this project different than what we're seeing on Gain Street? Should it qualify for funding that other projects haven't? We've heard from other developers along the corridor. Mr. Wolf has several projects going on Gain Street. And my question is, are we trying to open the door to now give tax incentives to every new development that's coming in to this district? Because that would be at a great cost to the CRA over the next 7 years if we do. If that's the path we're going down, while it's $250,000 for this project, if we then give that to every project, you're talking millions and millions of dollars that the downtown CRA would not receive over the long term. So the arguments have been made that this project is different, that it requires subterranean parking. You say that it cannot move forward. That's hard for me. At 1% of the cost, the total project budget, that 1% can't be found some other way, whether that's value engineering or changing designs. That's a very hard hurdle to say. On contamination, Mr. Cox, do we know the other sites on Gain Street are the ones under construction now, the remediation for contamination costs?
No, sir, I haven't looked at what the costs of other properties are in regards to contamination.
Ms. Dolan, do you believe the cost of this site is different than the other developments we're seeing?
standing before you today, without having reviewed those other sites, I can't give you an opinion on that. I wouldn't want to speculate.
And then I think the other arguments were the percent of the property encumbered.
That I can tell you is unique.
Sure. On that point, I would say they would have known that at closing of what their buildable units would be. And then the actual, have we looked at the cost per square foot? I know they're saying your project is significantly higher, more expensive than other projects based on these characteristics. Have we looked at that comparison at all, Mr. Cox?
Well, I mean, it does vary based on every project is a little different as far as material and timing, but it does appear to be very similar to what some of the other developments are doing as far as the numbers that Ms. Tilton gave.
Okay. Okay, yeah, those are the only, the points I wanted to check. So I just want to know, board members, are we looking at this project as different than other projects in the district, or are we trying to open the gates for anything that gets built in the future? I mean, we do know if this project moves forward and we don't give funding, that would be a few $100,000 annually that would go into the CRA for other improvements. We have invested significantly into the Gain Street area through tax incentives and public investments along the years in anticipation of not having to carry this burden. I'm open to a conversation that this is a unique project that could be considered, but I want to know where, as a board, we're looking to go before making a decision.
Well, let me put a pin in your question, and let me go to the mayor for his comment, and then go to Board Member Porter for her comment, and then we'll circle back. Okay, Commissioner Porter, Board Member Porter.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the presentation. I am rooting for this project, but at this point, I'm not convinced that this is the direction I want to go in, that I think the CRA should go in, that I think is fair, and I'm not convinced at this point that this is so unique or distinct from other projects along this corridor that it's unworkable without our support. So that's where I'm at this point. That being said, I'm not unsupportive of the project. I'm just not sure that it's appropriate for the CRA or the taxpayers to support it in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quick question, Lou. What happens to projects like these or any other projects that come before us with the CRA, I should say, in its entirety? If the legislature puts on the ballot next year the constitutional amendment that wipes out property taxes, like, how do we enter into an agreement and then turn around and say a year or two from now there are no property taxes in Florida, or half of the tax base by formula gets wiped out? You understand what I'm saying?
So, Mr. Mayor, if the question is if the legislature eliminates property taxes, and this is based on receipt of property taxes, generally these agreements are structured so the money has to come in to go back out.
Got it.
So particularly for an anticipation of that, it would be clear that CRA would only be paying money out if there's TIF coming in.
Well, and I guess at that point, everyone wins if they get rid of the property taxes in the state of Florida. Okay, I appreciate that. Have we heard also any other rumblings about legislation being proposed during the 2026 session in regards to CRAs?
I believe we do anticipate that they will have conversations. I do not know what version may come out of that, though.
Okay, all right. And this isn't just to this project in particular, but just in general. I think it's going to be interesting in the next couple of years to see, quite frankly, where CRAs stand just in general and the nature of our revenue in the state of Florida for local governments and local governmental entities. Tell me, Lou, about the conversation that the DRC had in regards to the different types of housing, student housing versus non-student housing or affordable housing, and how that came into the play and into the mix.
So, Mr. Mayor, going off of memory, the guidelines for this large project category provide that, at least when the guidelines were published, that funding was not available for student housing. My understanding is growth management does not have a category for student housing, so we look at location, some other features where projects are marketed to students to determine what is student housing. But there were a couple of different issues there. Just one, that it is not a defined term. It will be multifamily, is my understanding. And then also the question of when funding was not available, was that something that could be, this project could be taken up and looked at uniquely. So those were some of the discussions in front of DRC.
Okay, and it passed the DRC, correct?
Yes, sir.
You remember off the top of your head the one objection? What was the grounds for the objection?
Defining the terms of student housing. If we didn't have a definition, then she didn't think that that needed to be resolved before she could vote in favor of it.
Mr. Cox, you got an opinion on the definition of housing?
No, sir. I don't have opinion on student housing per se, but
Right. How it applies
so
to this.
what I would say is, if you all are interested in having a discussion as far as what type of housing, when it comes to new construction, you all want to support, we can do that, and be more intentional behind what is eligible and what isn't. What we tried to do is, based on the feedback we've received over previous years, to exclude something that we didn't think necessarily needed the support. I do believe that this is a unique site, but again, if the direction that you all want to go in is no support for student housing, we can definitely do that as well.
Why do you feel that this is a unique site?
It is, although other properties have been contaminated, this is kind of the last property in the College Town area that is kind of untouched. And I believe it is due to many of the site constraints that are there. I won't say that other sites haven't had similar constraints, but I believe this is the reason why this is one of the last sites that have been touched. There are definitely opportunities where it could have been developed earlier, and I think the constraints are part of the reason why it is kind of waited till this time.
Hilton, how much, not that I'm a structural engineer by any stretch of the imagination, how much of the development is going to be concrete versus stick?
Yeah, I can have my client answer that question, but my understanding is because once you go to 9 stories, I believe it's nearly all concrete.
100% concrete?
Yes.
Are any other projects on Gaines Street, have they all been 100%? I don't know, I'm asking. Have they all been 100% concrete or stick? Or a mixture?
I'm not sure, sir.
May I ask those who've done it in the audience?
Yeah, that'd be great. Come on up. We're recording, so if you wouldn't mind coming on up.
I don't know the rules on what I can and can't say, but as far as answering the question, ours have been a mixture of concrete and wood. And that was kind of one of the points, is if they made a lower density project, they could do wood and concrete and make it
We're good.
work.
We're
Thanks.
good. And I appreciate that. So I do think that this is a unique project, and I am going to support it, and I'm going to make the motion for approval in just a second. But because of the fact I believe this is the first project on Gaines that we've required to go subterranean to parking garages, it is 100% concrete, which drives the cost up even more. You look at the excavation that took place and the fact that we are requiring them to go higher because of the site plan and the layout. For whatever reasons, it makes it unique. Now, having said that as well, and I'm going to support the DRC recommendation and the executive director's recommendation, I do think it warrants a conversation by this body, even with pre-existing and moving forward. because of the fact that, from lack of a definition, it's put us in this gray area, okay? And because of the funding source, quite frankly, of the CRA and the uncertainty of the future, we need to have conversations about the sustainability of the CRA, projects that come before us, fairness, and are there opportunities for those that have already been built, quite frankly? And the answer might be a flat no, but I am open to that conversation. For the purposes of today, though, Madam Chair, I move option 1.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and motion has properly been made and seconded that we go with option 1. I might add that we have some conditions that have been agreed to, and I expect that they will be included in this motion and will be a part of whatever contracts go forward. We'll, all in favor of the motion as stated, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the motion passes 4-1. Go forth and do well. Mr. Cox, we'll work with you to move forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I know that I don't have to say this, but be good neighbors, because I've met with some of your neighbors, and I think we need to meet over some bread and wine.
Would be happy to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the next item, item 7.02, Calhoun Pedestrian Bridge, and I see green shirts, green in the room.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a presentation by KCCI in regards to the Calhoun Pedestrian Bridge Lighting Project.
All right.
Thank you, Stephen, Commissioner, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you all for having us here today. I am Betsy Couch, and I'm the Executive Director of KCCI, and I'm here with Maxim Nassab, one of our volunteer community catalysts, and we are presenting on behalf of our 2025 volunteer community catalyst team. KCCI, since 2007, has been working with leaders, citizens, residents, governmental officials to bring forward, make ideas come to fruition. And we're able to do things that have enhanced our current places and made new places. We've also done things that have improved economic vitality and economic development. The way KCCI is able to do this is through our volunteers and our community partners. We are made possible by private businesses and foundations in our community. And as you all know, because you've worked with us on many of our past projects, they've been very successful, they're very beloved, and they not only have trackable economic impact for a variety of different areas all throughout Leon County and downtown. Today, we are excited to talk to you about one of our downtown enhancement initiatives that will be able to improve safety and also some of the general aesthetics in our community. I'll turn it over to Maxim.
So Betsy, before you do that, go back to the screen and show your sponsors. I'm gonna make sure, I don't think I saw the City of Tallahassee on there.
So the City of Tallahassee is not a sponsor of KCCI. The way we are funded is through private businesses. The way it works, and sometimes this is confusing, the way it works is we are made possible by private businesses and foundations like the Knight Foundation. And then what happens, that enables us to come together and meet to train and bring together a diverse group of citizens. And then what we do is those citizens bring all their best connections and networks and different various expertise levels together and come up with different ideas that could benefit our community right in that time. So as you can imagine, we have tons of different ideas, and it always comes down to what could be the most successful, what could have the most return on impact, and also what do we think is the best thing for our community right now in this current day and age.
Thank you for educating our public.
Yeah,
Of
Madam
course.
Chair, it is actually, full disclosure, I am on the board of KCCI and have been for many years. It's actually a great model where the local governments, none of them are fiscal partners, but yet we have an incredible relationship with public-private partnerships on specific projects that come.
I knew there was a reason, but we try to educate our public.
Yep.
So thank you for that,
No, that's a
that
good
public
point.
service announcement.
I appreciate that. And thank you for letting me give that.
Hello, again. We're here again. So I want to talk to you about the pedestrian bridge on Calhoun. This gives you a little bit of a location of where it is. We're going to kind of walk through why this is so important and why this is such a great opportunity, and how we can help this area. So basically, just in case everybody's curious, Calhoun Pedestrian, what is that? That's next to Monroe, College, Jefferson, and right on Calhoun, as the name implies. And it connects a public parking garage, a city parking garage, with a commercial building that has multiple businesses inside of it that serve Tallahassee. In a larger picture of it, we can see how it sits within the site of Tallahassee, within downtown. So Calhoun is right in the middle of where the county courthouse is, the state capitol, the city hall with the new Bicentennial Square, and Cascades Park and Chamber Parks. So in terms of location, it is very much a prime location. But also, it becomes a gateway between Midtown and downtown, and it serves almost 5,000 drivers every day. So that's a lot of people in Tallahassee that are seeing this bridge. This is day and night. So what can we do to really make this bridge something more and help Calhoun become a gateway to downtown, to Cascades? So one way we can do is really increase that visibility at night and also in the day, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but also showing that the city is investing in the community and the existing infrastructure, which we know we're doing already, but this is another way of doing it. So that's really our narrative, how we can make this bridge into a catalyst for the city. So existing, what does it look like? This is how it looks like right now at night. So this, one of our catalysts actually took that picture at night. Didn't really feel comfortable to, so it didn't linger too long. It is a very dark space. This is not something that would tell me, hey, I'm entering a vibrant downtown. This is taking me to a park that is active and lit. It's not. But we know Cascades is a beautiful place, even at night. But this wouldn't tell me that it is. We know downtown is growing, and we know downtown, we're doing a lot of things for it. We've done it at City Hall, which you'll see very soon. We're about to do testing on the City Hall lighting system, and how can we integrate that? So this is, we're seeing that disconnect. We're seeing that this is not a very safe, it's a very dark area. So what can we do? So we can create lighting as a catalyst, right? Allowing lighting to be a catalyst for change on Calhoun, right? So we know that some things have not done very well on Calhoun with the marred development that we know exists, but what can we show from the city that we can do better, that we can really increase community engagement in that area? So this becomes a statement for downtown. This shows a city investment for the public and the community, and really tying in the civic core from City Hall to Cascades, to Chain of Parks, to Calhoun. So it creates this almost this community core for downtown, right? With light, color, and community engagement. What could that look like? This is how it could look like most of the time. This would be at night with white lighting. So what we're seeing here is we would have lighting at the bottom of the bridge shining up. So it's not blinding anybody that's driving. We would have shields on there so you're not going to get any glare. This is what it would look like, right? So it's not going to be interfering with any drivers. But at most of the time, we're going to have a white light to really showcase this gateway. So immediately you're getting a lot of that ambient light so you feel safer in the area, and this can create a catalyst for the rest of downtown, right? So this would be white. The other thing we would be doing is adding lettering on that facade. That lettering, we're going to work with the city in figuring out exactly what it is. Downtown Tallahassee, Tallahassee downtown. That's something we'll work with, but it creates something during the day that we'll be able to see rather than just at night. So we're doing both here. So what else could we do? Yes, most of the time it'll be white, but we can play with color because we're going to be able to use color changing LEDs, and we're going to be able to connect it with the City Hall's programming system. So Trevor, who is the person that is responsible for changing the lights at City Hall, he will also be able to change the lights here all from his laptop. Nobody's going to have to come here and change it. He's going to be able to do it, and it's all going to be part of a programming system, right? So here we're showing an example of what we can do for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Here we're showing what it could look like for 4th of July. Right? So there's opportunities of doing some really fun things, and this wouldn't be an everyday thing with the colors. Most of the time, it'll be a nice white light for safety. But on events, we can change it to have some colors. Again, not to be distracting to drivers, but to do a nice job showcasing the bridge. So some of the things that we're responding to in terms of challenges, we are responding to making sure that the lights are efficient. They're going to be LEDs. They're going to be connected to the existing city parking garage, the electrical system, so it's not going to actually interfere with the commercial side. It's only going to connect city. And then they're going to be long lasting because they are LED. And we've heard so much positive responses from local businesses in the area that are supportive of this. So that large building that it's connecting to, a lot of those businesses have shown support. So what we're asking today is we're asking for the CRA to approve a project and funding commitment for the revitalization of the Calhoun pedestrian bridge through lighting for a total turnkey cost not to exceed $150,000, requesting funds to be given to the City of Tallahassee to manage and implement the project. That total amount is a worst case scenario. This is including design fees, this is including construction costs, and also the materials, the actual fixtures themselves. And that would be a turnkey max amount for the project. And this is integrating it with the existing City Hall. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Board, Mayor, we'll start with Mayor.
Madam Chair, great project, wholeheartedly support it. I envision in the near future, Max, you and Trevor sitting there on a Friday night with a drink, just on the laptop, changing
Exactly.
colors,
Playing
having
some
fun.
colors, yeah.
Oops, wrong color.
No, let me tell you something.
right.
I think it's a great idea and appreciate KCCI bringing it to us, and I'm going to make the motion. I also want to state, as you are aware, it was discussed last night at the City Commission meeting. Y'all done some tremendous work in this community, both city and county, with the colorfully painted crosswalks that unfortunately by the state of Florida has required us to do away with. And we are complying, but I want you to know that we are disappointed. We stated it last night as well. Keep up the great work and let's keep thinking creatively on how we can move forward together. Keep this city safe.
Thank you. And I did want to just, since we're here publicly, make sure everyone understands that the crosswalks that are downtown near this site, those are done in a color-safe material.
Right.
So imagine a plastic melted into the cement. So it lasts, it has a longer shelf life, it's skid resistant, it's a federal and state approved traffic pavement marking material. Also, that's a county street. And then the other county ones are on Dempsey Mayo Road near Westminster Oaks. Right. So they have asked for an exemption on those, and we do have safety data that shows those kind of pre and post successes. But yes, we would like to see, no matter what you have to do for the city ones, as long as to the maximum of your ability, put something in place that still will help raise awareness, and that's safety. And that goes back to the core of why we did crosswalks to classrooms and the crosswalks to the courthouse. And really, it goes back to enhancing our pedestrian safety and vehicular safety experience in our community.
Well, and just goes to the artistic creativity of the community as well. I mean, we are having to pull up start line of the Tallahassee Marathon, which is not a crosswalk, but it's still in the street right behind City Hall, and I always thought that was really cool. So, yeah, a lot of disappointment, but I'm focusing on the positive today before us. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for option number 1, approval of the funding commitment.
Second.
Okay. It's
Second.
It's been properly moved and second by multiple people that we move forward with this recommendation. All in favor? Oh, okay, more discussion.
Yeah, no, well, not discussion, but just to say, Betsy, thank you, and KCCI and its volunteers. One of my former aide in the back is in the class this year, Shakarla Pai. I want to thank her for all the good work that she did for me over 8 years in the legislature, and now her position with KCCI is in part of the Catalyst class. But I want to congratulate you all for all of the work that you have done in the city. And I won't begin to try to name all of them, but they have all contributed to the betterment of our community. And I think this is really in line with what we have tried to accomplish over almost the last 20 years, and that is a walkable downtown. My daughter and I did a cross-country drive recently as she was transitioning from Jacksonville to Washington State. And there were so many cities that we stopped in where the downtown was just phenomenal. It was packed. There were opportunities for, businesses and other amenities in those cities, and it made me think about Tallahassee and what we have. And I think that this project, the Adams Street project, the Bicentennial Park, all of that, I think adds to what we're trying to accomplish in that 24-hour downtown or 18-hour downtown for Tallahassee. So thank you all for contributing to that, and we certainly look forward to continuing to work with you on those types of projects. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Board Member Matlow?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We could be downtown 24 hours. It's okay.
Won't get any work done, but we can be down there.
Right. Great presentation. Welcome back. I know you traveled to be here. I think it's cool that y'all identified this corridor, as we talked about. It definitely is in need of work. I think it's so much seen as a pass-through more than a destination, and the challenges we had down there with Washington Square, other projects. I think this is a good first step. Well, the crosswalk was a great first step, and this would be a second step. I know we talked about the need for potentially pressure washing around the garage and cleaning up the area. Mr. Cox, if we could work with the city or even the DIA to look at that and see if we can figure out a way to, as this project moves forward, also just try to get a good pressure washing, cleaning, painting, whatever is needed to kind of beautify the surrounding area when it gets closer to launch. Thank you, Madam Chair.
We
That is a
almost made
great-
it. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's a great suggestion because one thing we did here as we've been kind of walking the neighborhood is not as many people were aware that that is a public parking garage. So by pressure washing or doing anything you can to make the existing signage a little stand out more, or even potentially look at adding additional wayfinding public parking type signage, that would help increase the awareness of that public parking garage.
Madam Chair, just another quick question. Who maintains that crosswalk currently? The city or?
The bridge?
The bridge, yeah, who maintains it?
It is a city bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that connects.
So the
with
city would be
the,
responsible if we
parking garage.
wanted to do the pressure washing, the city would be responsible for that. Okay.
Congratulations, you own a bridge that you weren't aware of.
I was not.
Okay, Board Member Porter?
Great job. Looking forward to seeing this come to fruition.
We almost made it through a meeting without mentioning the W word, the WS word, almost.
I apologize.
Okay, the motion has been made and properly second. All in favor of approving this, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you, Betsy. And thank you for the in-depth presentation, not only here, but prior to. So I came in already knowledgeable about it. So look forward to seeing it happen.
Yes.
I have some suggestions for wording. So when you get ready for the wording, let me know.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. Moving on to item number 7.03.
Good afternoon. I love that we've got back-to-back downtown lighting projects, but Maxim's kind of a hard act to follow, so I'm going to do my best. But my name's Elias Mathis. I'm with the Tallahassee Downtown Improvement Authority, and I'm really excited to be here today to talk about a few of the different projects we've got going on downtown, and specifically our lighting project. I did want to mention, though, I heard the comment about pressure washing. And this was an item that Stephen and I worked on at the DRC level. It didn't actually come to the board, but we recently launched a pilot program for cleaning and pressure washing sidewalks downtown. It's a partnership. It's about a 50-50 split between the DIA and the CRA, and that actually began this week. So we actually started doing sidewalk cleaning on Adams Street and College Avenue. So you'll see a lot more of that. We're not going to be able to clean the whole garage, but we'll get the sidewalks for you.
Before you go forward, this is your first time appearing before us since you've been in this role? Am I
so.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We need to introduce you, as you did introduce yourself, but the last time the Downtown Improvement Authority came before us, it was your predecessor, Elizabeth Emanuel. So for those who may be watching from home, we just want them to know that you're now the new executive director for the Downtown Improvement Authority.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yep.
All right.
I've been here about a year and 5 months at this point, I think. So still relatively new, I guess, but I'm going to jump right into it. And this is a relatively small project as far as the cost, but it's the first phase of a larger plan that we have for the core of downtown and for Adams Street. So I'm going to give you folks a little more information than you need for this particular project, but I do want to talk about some of the other things we have in motion and that we're going to be working on in the coming months. So this past year, the DIA board and I developed a new strategic plan for downtown. And under that strategic plan, we identified specific areas of downtown to focus on, specific projects. And one of these areas is kind of the historic core of downtown that you're seeing on the map. The larger area highlighted in blue, that's our entire district. The area in red is where we're focusing on for this particular project. And there's a number of very large projects happening downtown over the next couple of years, a number of city projects with the improvements at Kleeman Plaza, the Bicentennial Square project, KCCI, Monroe Street sidewalk improvements. So there's a ton of activity. And part of the reason we've identified Adams Street, it's always sort of been the heart of downtown, and it also helps tie in all these different projects and create a cohesive, active area in downtown. So in order to move forward with that, I created a plan called the Adams Street Commons Plan, or Adams Street Commons Project. And essentially our goal is to create an active pedestrian space that can be used more frequently for programming in downtown, with the ultimate goal of creating that 18-hour downtown and supporting existing businesses, but also encouraging new business investment in downtown. And what you're seeing on the screen is kind of our vision, or examples from other communities of similar type projects. And again, this project is specifically the lighting component, but we will likely be back here in the not too distant future talking about additional components of this project. And we're really trying to focus on lower cost improvements that we can do now to have a bigger impact. And then in the longer term, if we want to look at doing much more substantial infrastructure investments in downtown, we would support that as well. But we're also big fans of, let's put points on the board now while we can and support existing businesses. So we'll definitely be talking more in the future about removable bollards, additional landscaping improvements, additional public art. So there's a lot more in the works. Specifically talking about lighting, I wanted to show this example. I could probably sit here all day and show you examples from other communities, but this is one of my favorite. This is a community just outside of Greenville, South Carolina. And it's two different photos of the same street, but it just shows you the impact that lighting can have on a downtown. And, even when it's not closed down for special events, if you're just driving through there, you can tell you're in a destination. This is an actual business district, and it's going to draw people in. And this is absolutely something we can replicate in downtown in Tallahassee. So there's two specific components to the project today. The first one is the overhead lighting project, and you can see the photo on the left there is some temporary overhead lighting that was installed for a special event a couple of years ago. Our lighting the plan is to have it be fairly similar to that. Unfortunately, the street lamps are not tall enough for us to permanently fix lights to them. So what we have gotten approval to do, and I've been working on, is coordinating with the business owners, the property owners, to actually attach the lights to the building facades so that we can get the required clearance. So it'll be a little bit different configuration, but a fairly similar layout as what you see here. And the second part of the project will be some landscape lighting, and I'll show you a few more photos of that. And this is just quickly to show you, this is the type of products that we're looking at for over Adams Street. And it's just to show that these are commercial grade, really high quality products that are intended for this use and can stand up to the elements over time. So the landscape lighting, what we're trying to do is replicate essentially the same thing that's already in front of the Governor's Club on Adams Street. So I'm sure everybody's walked by there at some point in the evening, but they did an amazing job lighting the area under the tree, as well as some lighting shining up into the tree. And our goal is to replicate that same kind of lighting with the other three corners of this section of Adams Street, and also under the balcony that's directly across the street from City Hall. It's a couple of photos. Apologies, this is just me taking photos. I'm not the best at it, but the two on the right is what's existing at Governor's Club. So you can see the trees well lit, which adds some aesthetic value, but also the area underneath it is really well lit. If you go down the street, right across from City Hall, there's no lights under those magnolia trees. The trees actually, they're great for shade in the daytime, but they also block a lot of the light around that corner. So our goal would be to apply that same treatment to the other corners so that we can make this space feel safer and more welcoming for activity in the evening. And again, just quickly showing you the types of products that we're looking at. These are, again, high-grade products that are commercial grade. They can withstand the elements. All right. So again, this is a relatively small funding request today. The total project cost is $55,000, $30,000 of that for the overhead lighting, and then another $25,000 for the landscaping lighting. And that includes the entire cost of the equipment as well as electrical infrastructure and everything that's going to be needed to support the project. And the DIA would be responsible for implementing the project and long-term maintenance. And when presenting this to the DRC, we got a lot of positive feedback. The biggest comment that we had was they'd like to see us focus on a bigger area. But again, I just want to reiterate, this is kind of phase one of this project. We'd love to do this and then come back in a few months or over the course of the next year and look at doing the northern section of Adams Street. There was also a lot of interest in doing some similar lighting along College Avenue so that as you're driving or walking down Monroe Street, it can catch your eye and help pull pedestrian traffic down Adams Street. So we will absolutely be back with some other ideas here in the not too distant future.
Okay, very good. As I was, you and I met earlier to talk about another project, and we were familiar with this one. What came to mind was something I learned in grad school about the Westinghouse or the Hawthorne effect, about when productivity increased when you put light on and made it more lit. So perhaps we can bring more folks downtown with these lights, and it'll be a very positive experience. So I know during the holiday season, it really looks good, right? Just driving through, seeing how downtown is kind of lit up. So we'll go into some discussion. I think it's a great idea, and looks like it's a good price, and it's phase one. You get us in there, and then the next one will be a bigger part. So we'll move forward with what we have here today. One board discussion and
Move option one.
okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we go with option one. Is there further discussion? Board member,
Madam Chair.
go ahead, Board Member Porter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great presentation. I'm really excited to see this phase be implemented and to hear about other phases. I think it's just a great example, like others have said, of a small investment that can make a really big difference. I had just one question about the pictures that I'm seeing up right now on my screen. You said it's a community outside of Greenville, South Carolina. Did you say the name?
Greer.
That's right. Yeah. So it's Greer Station is the project, and Greer is the.
Oh, it's Greer Station. Okay. Okay, cool. I was, my parents live in Clemson, South Carolina, which is about 45 minutes from the Greenville area. And so it's fun. They've got a lot of small towns with beautiful downtowns that are being revitalized. And there's a lot we can learn from. So I'm glad to see that inspiration. And I'm looking forward to supporting this project. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I obviously support this as well, but I just want to say great eye of noticing that these are improvements that, we could walk past the corridor so many times and not realize just how much lighting could affect it. So just for taking notice, and thank you for bringing it forward.
Hey, I jumped the gun on you. If you're the member of the DIA, if you want to put your name on the maker of the motion, I'm cool with that.
It's a joint motion
Sorry
by Mayor Daley.
Okay.
You can give
All right. It's been properly moved by Board Member Matlow, who is also a member of the Downtown Improvement Authority, and seconded by the Dean Richardson. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Thank you, Elias. We
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you again. Okay, next we're on to item number 7.04.
Yes, excuse me, Madam Chair. So we have two members of our Underground Utilities and Public Infrastructure Department that will give a presentation on the project that we're proposing for North Adams Street.
Great. Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Jenna Duncan. I am joined by Molly Levesque, our Capital Projects Manager from our Public Infrastructure Engineering Division. And we are here today requesting $1.5 million for the North Adams Street Pedestrian Improvement Project. The focus of this project is improving walkability and street safety along this corridor into the downtown. The extents of this project are shown in yellow. We're looking at 4 blocks along North Adams Street from West Tennessee Street to Brevard. It's approximately 0.3 of a mile. The project is within the North Monroe sub-area of the Downtown Community Redevelopment Plan. And within this plan, the plan actually has identified that the sub-area is a primary gateway to the core commercial area and plays an important role in the economic health of the downtown. So we feel that it's really primed for infrastructure improvements. This project will support several objectives of the plan. The first being the objective for streetscapes, gateways, open spaces, and trails. The project will improve pedestrian safety. It will contribute to a more cohesive design of the streetscape. Secondly, the project will support the objective for pedestrian mobility, traffic circulation, and parking. The design will reduce potential for pedestrian vehicular conflicts, and it will better define the existing on-street parking. And finally, this project will support the objective for housing and neighborhood preservation. Like I mentioned before, it's about safety, it's about functionality, and it's about an aesthetically pleasing environment. So if we zoom in a little bit closer, as I mentioned, we're looking at these 4 blocks from Tennessee to Brevard, but really the project's focusing on several intersections within this segment. Those are Virginia, Carolina, Georgia, and Brevard. And interestingly enough, North Adams Street's almost the dividing between the east and the west sides of the street. So again, it is that gateway into the downtown. It was designated that way a long time ago when the streets were named. This street segment is very well connected. We've got a really great existing pedestrian network, gridded pattern. Sidewalks are flanked on mostly both sides of the streets, at least on one side. And it's also served by a neighborhood connector route in our bike network. So with that, I'm going to let Molly talk a little bit about the details of the design.
So here shows our proposed improvements. Like Jenna said, we're really kind of focusing in on the intersections. This street already has a great foundation for an amazing complete street. It has sidewalks on both sides, a wide area between the sidewalk and the street, having that buffer space with beautiful oak trees lining the street. So there's not much that we need to take it from a good foundation to an amazing pedestrian experience. So what we're showing here is focusing in on these intersections where we have bump outs to define those parallel parking spaces, create shorter connections between the crossings, as well as improve the accessibility of these ramps along the connection points. An important thing to consider is this project is prime time to do it because Adams Street has been identified on the city's resurfacing list. So in 2029, the road will be resurfaced with or without this project. So we have the opportunity to kind of get ahead of that, save the city money in the future with resurfacing costs because there won't be as much asphalt to resurface, as well as saving money on this project because we won't have to do resurfacing that is going to be required to install some of these bump outs and drainage improvements. Here you can see in the orange area the asphalt that would be taken out when constructing this project, therefore reducing impervious area and also reducing stormwater runoff overall. Here's a bit, a kind of street view of the roadway. As you can see, it's a very wide street. It's about 40 feet wide, 4 lanes of traffic, parallel parking on either side. And you can see these areas along the curb that are marked in yellow. These are underutilized areas. You can't park here. Nothing's really happening except for just some asphalt. So our proposed is to bump out into the roadway, provide these curb extensions, again, defining those parallel parking spaces, but also providing a key characteristic to have drivers slow down a little bit. When you have pinched intersections, it causes awareness for the driver that there's not a big wide open area to drive through. So when these parallel parking spaces are empty with these little pinch points, you get drivers to be paying a little bit more close attention, being aware that there is a crosswalk coming up, knowing that to pay attention to their surroundings. So makes drivers pay attention, as well as provides a key aspect for pedestrians, which is shorter crossings. You can imagine crossing a 4-lane roadway versus a 2-lane roadway. In addition, you have that advantage point of being ahead of those parallel parked cars. So instead of having to peer around the cars to try to cross the road, you're now at a point where you can easily see oncoming traffic both ways and safely cross the roadway. Even further, we get the opportunity to enhance the accessible ramps at these intersections to make smoother transitions to aid in accessibility along the roadway.
So just to kind of double down on that too, the existing right-of-way width of this street varies between 40 and 55 feet wide. It's immensely wide. We'd be taking this down to about a 22-foot width. So really significant reduction. Another component of the project is the street lighting. On the two left images, or images on the two on the left, are existing lighting that's along this street. These are just two of several different iterations of them. One on the far left is our town and country style, but not all the streets that are town and country have that same pedestal look. The one in the middle is the acorn style, and those have a little bit of variation just depending on what block you're on, spacing. So what we're proposing with this project would be going to the pendant style, which is shown on the right side of the screen. You are all probably familiar that has been first incorporated in the Kane Street streetscape, and now it's being utilized through the downtown. So incorporating this into this project will certainly tie into downtown. It'll give us some more appropriate spacing. It'll handle the canopy because, you know, this entire street is very well lined with the wide aged oaks, or old oaks, whatever the proper term is. But so it'll combat some of those canopy lighting issues, and it will certainly give a more cohesive style to the entire streetscape. So just breaking down our request, again, like I said, it's for the $1.5 million. The bulk of this request is for construction. That's $1.35, and as Molly mentioned, by doing this, we're able to leverage some of the resurfacing that's already going to occur. So we're saving money on that construction component. In addition to construction, we're looking at $100,000 for design and about $50,000 for the construction, engineering, and inspection that would occur.
For our project schedule, again, it ties very nicely with the 2029 resurfacing project. We anticipate if we receive funding for this project, we can get design started in spring of next year with a goal of going to bid in winter of 2027. And that gives us a full year to construct the project with allowance of working around session. We know that there's a lot of pedestrian activity during session, especially around the governor's mansion. So kind of planning to construction to avoid that and cause as less disruption as we can. We have that full year to ability to construct it and then go towards resurfacing in the next year in 2029. We are happy to answer any questions.
Keep in mind, during that odd year, session starts early. Yeah, so you.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so I saw your spring 2028. Session starts in January in 2028. In the even years, I think I may have said odd, but in the even years, they start early. But you'll get it done. Yeah, make it happen. Yes, sir. Mayor.
Love this project. We'll be making the motion for approval. Incredible. Taking all of Adams Street. Got South Adams that we're working with in the Capitol complex downtown, right? We now have North Adams. Love the pedestrianization. There's obviously the opportunity for the redevelopment of what we would consider the old Greyhound bus station, and that'll probably happen soon as well. And this plays right into our next agenda item. which is the Sushi Sake restaurant. And seriously,
Yeah,
making
yeah.
it more pedestrian as people are walking to restaurants in the area. Great job, ladies. I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second, and we'll have further discussion. Now, I'm looking at Cheryl Collier-Brown in the audience because, you know, Cheryl's a traffic cop in that area. Do you all know this lady? Have y'all had conversation? If y'all haven't had conversation, you want to have conversation because she could either be your best friend or something else. So that's her area. She lives and patrols that area. She's the governor's neighbor. So,
Ms. Collier-Brown, you're on our Greater Southside Frenchtown, Greater Frenchtown Southside CAC. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
all right. I point that out because I saw she put her glasses on and she went into teacher mode. And so I just wanted to go ahead and warn y'all that after this meeting, she will be coming to you, I'm sure. So you can go to her to save some time. Any further discussion?
The intersection of Adams and Tennessee, will there be safeguards put in place? You know, because that's one of the issues that we have in downtown Tallahassee is the intersections. And I'm thinking of this one, the one at Jefferson and Monroe, where there is a lot of foot traffic, but it's
But
not as safe as it.
where you're talking about is where the Greyhound bus station is on Tennessee Street.
Right.
Right, but, so, I didn't see where this goes to that, but I think that with what the mayor has just stated about the redevelopment that's gonna occur with the Greyhound bus station, that could then be baked in,
Okay. All right.
possibly.
This area, you can see, this is the widest section of the roadway. I think it's about 55 feet. So there is opportunity to narrow it down even further. Our plan was to work with our traffic folks and look at the need for some of the 3 different turn lanes and kind of see where we can take up some space and neck it down even further to provide a further pedestrian-friendly area and some buffer space on that west side.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion that's on the table, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Passes unanimously. All right, moving right along to the, was it Sushi Sake? Moving right along.
Yes, so we have Elise Fisher. She will give a presentation on this application.
I get my tongue tied with it too. Sushi Sake.
Sushi Sake.
Sushi. All right, so this is one of 4 CPIP applications we have for you today. This first one is in our downtown district. It's at 440 North Monroe Street, known as the Industry. So just a reminder on this program, we're in our first fiscal year of this CPIP program. It does allow for a maximum of $200,000 for interior and exterior improvements for commercial properties. The staff review looks at consistency with the guidelines, the plan, and the statute. This funding is a reimbursement, so the funding goes out once the project has been completed. For projects over $30,000, the first $20,000 doesn't require a match, and then after that, it's a dollar for dollar match. So all of our projects today are over that $30,000 threshold. So with this property, again, it's 440 North Monroe Street. They are requesting the maximum $200,000 to complete the interior build-out for the tenant Sushi Sake. They will also be doing some exterior improvements. You can see that courtyard area that they have, which will be used for seating. That is also included in the project. And just some other photos. So right now, it's pretty much just a shell of a building, so they will be building it out for this tenant. A little history on Sushi Sake. This is from South Florida. They have several locations in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and they are currently expanding throughout the state, and Tallahassee being one of the locations that they would like to open up at that location on 440 North Monroe Street. So with staff review, we did find it to be consistent with the guidelines, the statute, and the plan. With the plan, it met the objective of enabling a mixture of retail, entertainment, and residential uses in downtown. This item also went to the DRC on June 3rd, and they made a motion to accept staff recommendation and recommend approval of this project. So with that, staff recommendation is option 1, and that's approval of the application for the grant of $200,000 to complete the commercial build-out for the property located at 440 North Monroe Street.
Thank you for the presentation, Board.
Move option 1.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and properly motioned and seconded that we move forward with the option 1. Board discussion. I saw Board Member Matlow's hand first, and then come back to you, Board Member Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great to see a tenant going into this space. This is a cool upcoming area of downtown Tallahassee. Also want to highlight the beautiful oak tree that shades that patio that the City of Tallahassee stepped up and made sure was protected during redevelopment. It's going to be a very unique experience in downtown Tallahassee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just wanted to say that this certainly is a wonderful project, again, for our downtown. But it's an example of what we have said we wanted to see happen in other developments, and unfortunately, it hasn't. But this will be an example for others, hopefully, to emulate as we go forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board Member Porter?
Madam Chair. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I intend to support this item. Just as a comment, I think in general, I am less comfortable in situations like this where it hasn't even been built out by the developer. That's not my preference, but I am excited to see this project move forward and there be retail in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion that's on the table, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Passes unanimously. All right, we're on to item number 8.01.
Yes, Madam Chair. So we have another CPIP for the Greater Frenchtown Southside District, and Elise will give this presentation.
All right, so this is the second CPIP application. This is for 1100 North Monroe Street. They were requesting a $43,308 CPIP grant from the CRA. This property was purchased by a local florist. They expanded out of their original location and they purchased this building, and they are looking to replace the existing business sign, complete some HVAC improvements, and replace the existing roll-up doors. Here are some photos of the existing conditions. Those roll-up doors they intend to replace to improve them and get rid of that graffiti, and then the sign will be updated for their business. The guidelines, we found it to be, this project to be consistent with the guidelines, the statute, and the plan, meeting the goal of economic development by supporting a local business that is expanding. They do currently have 18 team members, and they plan to add 3 to 5 new employees with this expansion. This project went to the advisory committee on August 11th. And like was mentioned earlier in the meeting, there was a lot of discussion about the community benefit and engagement for all 3 of these projects. So they accepted staff recommendation to recommend approval with the condition that the property owner will engage with the community in some capacity. So we are hosting our regular Coffee and Connections in October. And one of the other CPIP applicants has agreed to host that Coffee and Connections at their location, and then all of the applicants with these projects are invited to attend, and that can be a way that they can engage with the community and be available for any questions about their projects. So with that, staff recommendation is to approve this request for the CPIP grant of $43,308 to complete the site improvements at 1100 North Monroe Street.
Thank you for the presentation, Board.
Option 1, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to accept option 1, which is the recommendation. All in favor, let it be known. Well, do we have any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you very much. It passes unanimously. On to item number 8.02.
8.02, this is a CPIP request for $49,038 to complete exterior and interior improvements to the property located at 1104 Old Bainbridge Road. This is the site that has agreed to host us for Coffee and Connections. So we will be there. We set up a table. We have coffee and light snacks, and we invite the community to come out and speak with us as staff, and then also all of the applicants will be in attendance as well. So this request is to complete improvements, both interior and exterior, to the property. The site is currently vacant. They do not know who the tenant is going to be at this time, but these improvements will allow them to find a tenant that can move into the building. With the building currently being vacant, they have been subject to some vandalism and some other issues, so hopefully these improvements will bring some life to the building, get somebody in there, and that can help eliminate those issues that they've been having. So just some photos of the existing conditions, and this is both interior and exterior of the site currently. Staff did review this project again for consistency with the guidelines, the statute, and the plan, and found it to be meeting the objectives of the plan for both economic development and public safety. This item did go to the advisory committee twice, first on April 14th, where they made a motion to bring the project back to them with some conditions that the property owner shows proof of liability insurance and would be willing to allow policing and posting no loitering and trespassing signs. That property owner has provided that proof of insurance and has agreed to post those signs on site and to allow policing if and when necessary. So it went back to the CAC in August. And they, again, spoke a lot about the community engagement and the benefit of the site and these improvements, and made the motion to accept staff recommendation with the condition that the property owner will engage with the community. So again, we're hosting Coffee and Connections at this site. We encourage anyone to come and join us. The property owner will be there to answer any questions, and staff will be there as well. And on this one, staff recommendation is to approve the application for the CPIP grant for $49,038 to complete both interior and exterior improvements to 1104 Old.
Okay, thank you. Board member, Matlow?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do we have any indication of what type of tenant will be going into this space?
The applicant is open to it. They've heard feedback from the community that a laundromat would be welcomed. I believe he is not necessarily in a position to build out a laundromat himself, but he is open to a tenant interested in doing that. But I think he is really just open to find a tenant that is interested in being in the community long term. So I think that's the goal, and these renovations will help further that effort.
Okay, so my concern is any type of liquor store, beer shop, smoke shop type of use. Could we condition our investment on future use?
So those uses would not be allowed.
Okay.
Now, a convenience store that sells alcohol wouldn't be considered a liquor store, but there are definitely parameters that we can put in the agreement that would prohibit them from having some of those uses.
Okay, that would be my intent. All right.
What about a grocery store? How about?
Grocery would be great. Yeah, I mean, if we can make a wish list, we could do that. But I just don't want to invest and then see something that ultimately may be rejected.
Yes, sir. No, we definitely have provisions that would prevent from certain uses.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a list of uses in the guidelines that are prohibited, and so that'll be in the agreement, and that includes liquor stores, convenience stores with gas stations, any type of predatory lending.
Okay, I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the recommendation of option number one. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, is this a new owner, or has there been a business transaction sold or anything? Is this a new owner?
No, it's the same owner, but the tenant had left, so it's no longer the time saver.
Got it.
Same owner.
Got it. Mr. Cox, is this we've had some issues over the years with this time saver, correct?
I'm not sure with this particular time saver, but with other time savers. There's three, one in Griffin Heights and two in Frenchtown, and this is one of the ones in French County?
Yes, we've had issues.
Okay.
We've had issues.
Yeah,
This
and-
one
With
on
that
the
particular
corner.
location, okay.
As I understand it, a lot of it was with people gathering on
Loitering.
site, so that was why the CAC made that condition for posting the no loitering trespassing signs and then allowing policing when needed, so.
So I'm excited to see new life being breathed into this facility. However, is there any code enforcement violations on the building right now?
No, sir.
Staff statement of issue says that there is a code enforcement violation, TCE 250013, with the graffiti on the side of the building.
There is, and
I'm sorry.
the, one of the improvements is to paint the building, and so that'll take care of that violation. And the guidelines do state that if there's an active code violation, but the improvements will address that, then it's permitted.
Okay. And I will support this. I will say personally, I disagree with that section of policy. Now's not the time to address it, but I don't think it's appropriate for the same owner that's been cited to then be able to use our CRA money to address what they've been cited for. Now, if the property had changed ownership and somebody else came in and had the code violations that they're trying to deal with, that's something. We've got the same owner that's been cited, that we've had problems with in the past, that now we're going to pay for his code enforcement violation. Just want to say that rubs me wrong. For the good of the community, I'm going to support the motion. I just don't agree with that. I don't think it's.
We're gonna give them an opportunity to make amends. Yes, we're gonna fund it, but we're gonna give an opportunity to make amends and know that we're on top of it. And, you know, no holds bar on this going forward. We expect some great things to be happening, and that's why we're investing.
We
there.
expect better.
We
Absolutely.
expect better, and this is blighted, and our primary purpose for CRA is to clear up blighted areas, so let's do that. So the motion on the table is that we move forward with the approval. All in favor, let it be known. I'm sorry, Board Member Porter, you want to add anything?
No, Madam Chair, I'm ready to vote.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. So, I mean, I'm in favor of, so it's unanimously, we're in favor of. I'm looking at the clock and looking at the time and trying to see, let's go ahead and finish,
Well, we
and
can
then
get
we'll start our public hearing right after, as soon as we finish. All right, on to the next one. Eight 8.03, right?
Yes.
All right. This is the last CPIP request for the evening. This is for a request for $33,147 to complete exterior and interior improvements to the property located at 1450 Lake Bradford Road. Some of the improvements include updating some plumbing, some HVAC improvements. They're going to update the stair railing to bring it up to code standards, painting, parking improvements, and signage. This is the existing conditions of the building. There are 4 tenants that provide different services within this building. Most of the tenants have been there long-term. The shortest one has been 2 years. One of the tenants has been there for over 10 years. So it's been a long time for these services being in this location. This is the stair railing that will be updated so that it meets current code requirements. There's not a code violation for this stair railing, but they're just bringing it up to code standards. So again, with staff review, we looked at the guidelines, statute, and plan and found it to be consistent with all of those. Again, with this one contributing to the economic development by supporting local businesses that provide services within the CRA district. This one went to the advisory committee on August 11th as well. Same conversation about the community benefit and engagement. So we have invited this property owner to our Coffee and Connections. So she will be there, as well as some of her tenants may attend as well. And staff recommendation is option 1, and that is to approve the CPIP grant request for $33,147 to the property at 1450 Lake Bradford Road.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion to move approval, acceptance of the staff recommendation, and it's also been seconded. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. All right. Thank you, Elise. You can take a break. The item number 8.04 was pulled,
Correct.
and so that takes us to item number 9.01.
Yes, we have Sherry Curtis here, but I will, if she has if you have any questions, she can answer. But this is regarding our audit, and so she can answer any questions you may have regarding it. But we did have our independent audit.
Question.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Is it a clean audit?
Yes, sir.
High marks?
Highest marks.
Any outstanding findings?
No findings.
Move acceptance.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Comment?
Thank you all very, very much.
Congratulations
Yes.
on a totally clean, 100% highest marks, no outstanding issues audit. That is brilliant.
Very good, very good,
Thank you, sir.
very good. Okay, now, the public hearing will begin. And let me know, there's only 1 minute past the mark. All right. Mr. Cox, we have,
Yes,
no, it's Lou, right? Lou, who's doing the public hearing?
I do the presentation.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Mr. Cox.
1 second.
Get the clicker.
Thank you all. So I will give a presentation on our budget, and we can have a discussion. I know there was some questions about discussion, so we'll have that. So I just wanted to quickly run through our budget. I believe you all have seen it. So I wanted to kind of go over our budget amendments. These are projects that have been approved by you all throughout the course of the fiscal year. So the Tharp Street development and the Coca mural grant, those were both approved for the Greater Frenchtown Southside District. In regards to downtown, we had several. We have the Bicentennial Square mural grant. Which you all approved today was the Adams Street Lightscaping Project with TDIA, the Calhoun Street pedestrian bridge, as well as North Adams Street. So all of those were approved by you all today. So those will be reflected in as far as our budget amendments. What I wanted to do now is briefly do a kind of what our strategy was for budget for this fiscal year. For Greater Frenchtown Southside, we wanted to focus on public infrastructure, commercial and residential assistance, multifamily residential, and Providence Neighborhood First. So you'll see that reflected in where the money's allocated this year. For downtown, again, public infrastructure, commercial and residential assistance, and multifamily residential. So those were the aspects or the focus for our budget this year. As far as highlights for Frenchtown, we've been working with Housing Community Resilience. We've identified an opportunity to assist with the Affordable Housing Construction Loan Program. We've identified that there are several local builders that are interested in the program. The city has just exhausted their funds. So by providing this additional funds, it'll open up that opportunity for those builders to complete their housing projects. Most of those are infill housing projects. And the goal would be to sell those to eligible, affordable homeowners on the back end. So that's what funding would be for. We do have infill housing funding for any infill housing opportunities, either acquisition or to develop existing infill opportunities as far as within the district. And then the Neighborhood First program, we're budgeting $2 million. Right now, that would go towards Providence. South City would be the next neighborhood after Providence. But right now, that's where
Provided CRA survives the legislative process.
Yes. And so for downtown, we have quite a bit of TIF payments. So we have the Cascade Redevelopment Project and then the industry. So those TIFs reimbursements, we have that obligation. And then public infrastructure, the 1.5 is primarily for the North Adams Street, which you all just approved. So those are the major highlights in the budget. So next slide, just wanted to kind of, so every year we have a split, and the split is, is how the funding is allocated. And so for this year, 31% is downtown, and 69% is GFS. So that's kind of how all the splits are when it comes to operating and personnel. And so I did want to point out that the operating expenses, we were under 10%. We really worked hard to try to make sure that we were under as low as possible when it comes to our operating expenses in relationship to our budget. So we're at 9.8% right now.
I love those color selections.
Now, for GFS, when it comes to our budget, between prior years and revenue, we're anticipating it to be a little over $12 million. Between personnel operating expenses and capital commitments, those are the projects that we identified to fund, or the programs we're funding. We should have a little over $2 million that is unallocated currently. That opens up the opportunity for opportunities to come to us. If we end up depleting one of those line items, we can come to you all and use those resources to add more if that's needed. So right now there's about a little over $2 million that is unallocated. For down.
Stephen, quick question. Go back to that.
Yes, ma'am.
That includes
Excuse me,
our commitment to the Orange Avenue, what is it called now? Orange Avenue?
Orange Avenue? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So all of the commitments are in the numbers, yes,
All right.
ma'am. For downtown, we're a little over 14 million. Now, that is because this year we will be securing that loan for Global City, and that is, once we receive those proceeds, that's what will take us up to that 4 million. And so again, our capital commitments and our operating expenses will leave us with just under 2 million of unallocated funding. And so that's what we have for the downtown area. Excuse me. So what I wanted to show you is, so for the downtown district, the DRC, they approved the budget as is, no changes. Greater Frenchtown Southside, they recommended that they recommended a budget with the caveat that we remove the community policing and public safety line item for $200,000. And we can definitely have a conversation about that if you would like more detail. But essentially, we have asked, we've spoken to TPD. They are more than happy to come to our next meeting, CRA board meeting in October, and go over what they plan on spending the money for. We offered that same suggestion to the CAC. That was an amendment to the motion that was on the table. They did not, that amendment got voted down, and then they ended up voting for the removal of the community policing and public safety line item. What we did, I expressed to them that that was a 5-year commitment from the CRA board. We're in year 3. And so the board would have to decide if they wanted to make any changes to that. And so that's kind of where we left the CAC. We told them that we would express that to you all, and you all will make that decision. And then lastly, we recommend that the budgets move forward as is, depending on what you all have to say. But again, we're asking that you adopt the resolution and move forward with the budget as is.
Okay. Any questions, board members? Board Member Matlow.
Madam Chair, what was the conversation on that item? What was the objection?
So there was objection to the uncertainty of how the money is going to be spent. And so there was a feeling or sentiment that how TPD would choose to use the funds would not necessarily be how the community would want to use the funds. Now, part of the 5-year commitment, an agreement that we had with TPD was that they started off with engagement. So they met with all of the neighborhoods within the CRA and received feedback on what are the issues and concerns, and then TPD would develop a strategy or approach to determine how best to use the funds. Now, one of the things that they did mention to us, TPD, was that cameras would be helpful. Now, that would have been an eligible use of our funds, but thankfully they were able to receive, I believe, a federal grant that covered the cost of those cameras. So that was something they didn't need to use our funding for. So right now, we are waiting for TPD to kind of decide what they want to use the money for. They have not expended much of anything, if I'm not mistaken. So right now they have $400,000. This would be the additional the additional $200,000 for fiscal year 26. But as of right now, they have not spent those funds.
Okay. I'm comfortable supporting the CAC's decision if there's $400,000 that hasn't been spent yet, and then if there's further items that come forward for discussion to fund, we can take them up, knowing what we're funding. I do believe the City of Tallahassee invests heavily in law enforcement and serving our entire community. Certainly, we want law enforcement in our community and protecting our neighbors, but I do understand the need for knowing specifically how it's going to go into the community. So I would propose, once the 400 spent and we're seeing how it's spent, come back and we can take it up again.
Board Member Richardson.
And it's my understanding, Cox, that 200,000, if we decide to award it to TPD, couldn't be used for events.
Correct. Yes, sir. No events. And again, it's similar parameters to anybody using the money. So events, certain kind of equipment would be a no. So there are certain parameters that TPD would have to abide by. Part of that is the boundaries. Resources that are for the district are not supposed to leave the district. So any equipment that has the ability to leave the district will be ineligible for funding. So that is part of the difficulty that TPD has been having is, we have quite an expansive district, and it's not contiguous. You have, and so it is a little challenging to find ways to stay within our boundaries.
Yeah. Madam Chair. So if we decided to go with the recommendation of the CAC, that 400,000, if TPD comes back with some suggestions that the money can be used for, we could take those up from that 400,000 in the budget of the CRA.
Well, those from previous years, but yes, sir. We could. Essentially, if you all didn't approve the 200,000, they still have the 400,000 from previous years to allocate to a project or a program.
Okay, all right. So TPD has that 400,000.
Yes.
That they could use.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor? Board Member Porter?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I feel comfortable at this point, especially knowing they have money that they haven't spent yet, moving forward without the additional allocation. If that's the will of the board, I would be comfortable with that. Thank you.
I wanted to wait and speak last because I think just the opposite. I think put it there, so if it's needed, it's there. If you don't need it, then no harm, no foul, because then you can pull it loose. And if TPD has received feedback from the community, from the district, on things that they like to see the money used for, then I think TPD should be given the opportunity to provide either a list or explanation of some of the things that they want to do. One of the things that comes to my mind is that, and I know it can't be used for events, but it could be used for education. Could it?
It can be used for training of officers. There's a, I'm trying to think of the name of it, community relations unit. They would be able to use some of that for training, potentially. SEPTED, crime prevention through environmental design. Those are some strategies that are built in to kind of promote public safety and stuff like that. So there are definitely opportunities that TPD could use in that respect.
What about crime prevention through music? Question, and I say that because I know that there is a need, and it could stay within the district, there's a bus right now with a piano on it that will host 14 students. But there's a need for a bigger bus that will host more students. I learned of that need recently, and it is from an organization that primarily works within this district. So being creative can help us achieve that. If it's not for, it's for community policing, not necessarily for the police to use for themselves, but for the community to better the community. So just, just something to think about. We can talk about it more, but I think we should leave the money there, and so that if a use is identified, it's already there. We don't have to come back and put it there.
Second.
Okay, thank you. That is a motion, that we leave it there, and it's there so as needed. And I'd like to hear what TPD had, what feedback they received. The community told them what they wanted them to do.
Yeah.
We just need to know and allow TPD to come and tell them, or come and tell us what it is that they're planning to do. And I'm just planting that seed about that learning to play piano on a bus. Say it into the microphone. Dr. Patrice Floyd with Javacia expressed that need recently on a show that I was listening to, and congratulations to her. She received an honorary doctorate from Florida A&M University, well-deserved, and I'm glad to have been able to participate and write a letter of recommendation to support that. And so I think that would be a very creative way to engage our young people and get them musically inclined, and make them put other things out of their hands and put their hands on the piano to learn to play. So that's my motion. Any other further discussion, Board Member Matlow?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wonder if I could offer keeping the $200,000 in the budget dedicated to public safety and having more opportunity to explore other ways we can invest in public safety. My concern is we're at $400,000 and I haven't heard anything yet, and I don't want to get to $600,000 and still not hear anything. But if we just line item it for public safety, we have the ability to then, if TPD brings something forward that needs 600, we can fund it. But if there's other things like what you're mentioning that we could fund separately, directly, that speak to public safety, we could do that as well.
But that might not be enough, though.
Sure.
Might not be enough. We don't know.
Sure.
I'm just saying. I feel your spirit. I feel
flexibility on the public safety spending.
Yeah, I feel your spirit, but now that they know we need to know what they're going to do with $600,000, we're going to know real soon.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to lose their funding. So, any other discussion? All in favor?
I would like to make a substitute motion that we move forward with the budget per the CAC recommendation. I'm not comfortable. There's no reason why it can't come back to us if there is a stated reason and purpose, but I'm not comfortable leaving it open-ended. Thank you.
We have a substitute motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all right, we have a substitute motion. All in favor of the substitute motion, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Okay, so we're back to the original motion. All in favor of the original motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
All right.
Nay.
Okay, all right, passes 3-2. All right. And so you have our you have our recommendation on the budget. Anything else to come let me look, because I'm getting excited about take a bathroom break.
We do have one speaker
Okay,
card on non-agenda item.
on unagenda items?
Yes, on non-agenda items.
Okay.
What would be our number 11 on this agenda?
Okay.
And we have it as Mr. Stanley Sims.
Okay. Mr. Sims, are you in the building?
Thought I saw.
One call, going once?
Nope.
Going twice?
Good.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Good job. Great meeting.
Great meeting, we got a lot done. Thank you all. Thank you.